Freeman. It's a couple seconds. We'll be live and getting ready to start it. Ready to get started. I'm trying to get this stuff. There we go. You're live. Well, happy Friday, everybody. Everybody hear me?
Happy Friday.
Friday. Oh. Well, today we're happy to pronounce that, today we're happy to start our panel discussion of balcony and dance floor. And today we have our YouthBuild program. We're talking about brighter future. So, it's great that we're able to have one of our deputy directors along with one of the YouthBuild staff along with the participants. We want to just talk about how YouthBuild is coming to the Champaign County community and how it's going to help bring brighter future to our young people, but also the challenges that we've had in order to create a program through COVID-19 in the virtual way. So the staff and the team's done a great job. Again, the balcony and dance floor is a panel discussion about affordable housing and how it's really about an opportunity to give people a chance to learn about what we do as housing authorities. And this is a unique program. Not all housing authorities have a YouthBuild program, but we're happy to have one here. And so we just want to talk about that. The balcony and dance floor is a concept that talks about leadership and management, where on the balcony, you see the big time overview of the whole organization, what's occurring, what's happening from a larger point. But when you get down on the dance floors, when you can really touch people and kind of see the ins and out of what's happening, that's where the rubber meets the road. So all housing authorities have a YouthBuild program, both of those areas related to our various programs. So with that started, I'll go ahead and allow Lily to go ahead and introduce herself, tell us a bit about then we can go along into some of this conversations. Again, welcome and thank you guys for being a part of this.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Lily Walton. I'm the Interim Deputy Director of Enrichment Operations for the Housing Authority, Champaign County. So we have a couple years ago, when I first came to Champaign, we applied for the YouthBuild grant. We were really, taking a look at like the development that the HACC had going on and, trying to figure out how to maximize our resources. We looked at how much money we were spending on various construction projects and, where that money was going, whether it be, to developers in Atlanta or California or wherever, but we knew that the money wasn't coming back to our community. So we looked at the YouthBuild grant to really get youth trained in construction so they'd be able to take over some of these construction, work on them at least, to be able to get some of that money flowing back into their pockets. So the first time we applied for the grant, we didn't get it. And then we were so disappointed that our grant writer offered to write the grant for us again for free. And so December 16th, we found out that we won the $1.5 million YouthBuild grant. And so ever since then, we've been like hitting the ground running with this program. Basically what the YouthBuild program is a comprehensive youth development program. So I always tell our participants that it's not school and it's not work. Our focus is to get them developed, to, a full development of them. So whether they come to us without a high school diploma or with a criminal background or and need a child care or whatever needs they may have, we're working with them to really get them stable so they can be successful and they can, have a future.
Very good, very good. Thank you for that. And Lily did mention that when we came here to Champaign County, that was a couple years ago, we didn't have a youth build. Both Lily and myself had experience in youth build Lake County. So we know how the impacts of youth build can have to the community and our young people, along with fostering that opportunity for jobs and keeping the money within the community construction going on. So Siobhan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do with youth build?
My name is Siobhan Myrick. I am the education coordinator for our Youth Build program. And so basically, I make sure that the students have access to our online high school diploma program and give them guided instruction in working towards earning their high school diploma.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And you're fairly new here to the Housing Authority. We're happy to have you aboard, and I got an opportunity to see you guys in mental toughness yesterday. Well, not yesterday, other day when you worked with some of the young people with a new group that's coming in. So next, was it Trevante?
Yeah. Oh, so I'm Trevante. I'm currently a student at Youth Build.
So why did you decide to look at Youth Build as an opportunity?
Well, when I first moved, I'm originally from Danville, but I moved to Champaign, and when I first moved to Champaign, I started getting myself in a lot of trouble, really deep, and like in trouble with the law and stuff. And my mom was telling me like I gotta pull it together, or I'm gonna be somewhere where I don't want to be. And she gave me the idea to do Youth Build, and like I didn't really want to do it at first, but then I'm like I do want to succeed in life, and this program sounds pretty successful, so why not give it a shot? So give it a shot. I'm really liking it now. Like,
so what were some of your early experiences that you had with the program? Knowing it's new, but what's some of your early experiences?
Like I'm recently we just got our OSHA training, and it's a certification. So I think that's like it's really good. We get all types of certifications, and like it's really fun, and I get to meet a lot of new people I didn't meet in this program, and I became a lot closer to a lot more people. I enjoy it.
That's good. That's good. So let's go back to Lily. Lily, could you tell me about some of the experiences? I want to briefly explain to individuals that don't fully understand Youth Build, but when I'm gonna come back to you, I want you to explain to me some of what you had to do in order to bring this program to fruition in the standpoint of starting it under COVID-19, which is something that's unique. All in itself is already hard to start a new program. But one of the blessings about the Youth Build program is that it's a pre-apprenticeship program. So we have opportunities to allow young people not only to be trained, not only get those certifications as Trevante mentioned, but also to facilitate their efforts into the unions, if that's what they want to do. We have a Jobs Plus component where we allow individuals to find other trades that they may want or go off to college afterwards. So, that's the blessing about it. And Lily mentioned earlier that we have a tremendous amount of construction going on, and we have a Move to Work agency. So we're one of 39 organizations in the nation that focus on our whole client from age 18 to 54 in order to overcome obstacles and become self-sufficient. And so working with our young people, some may be on our program, some may not be on our program, but it just helps facilitate that effort with our young people in order for them to be successful long term. So that's what's so great about this program. It's funded from the Department of Labor, and it's a great match for what we're doing here at the Housing Authority of Champaign County. So Lily, let's go back to you. And I know it was challenging and it was tough to start any new program, right? We could start a basic rehab of drywall. Is a challenge of how much drywall you need and where you purchasing it from. You on mute too. And so starting a new program like Youth Build with individuals you don't even know, in the sense of you didn't have a staff, you didn't have any participants in mind. We don't even have a building really yet for the program.
No. So yeah, it's starting this new program has been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of ups and downs, and my team has definitely been, sticking through with us. So of course we realized we got the grant in December, and January we started planning. So we had a 4-month planning period, and COVID just so happened to hit during that 4-month planning period. And I think, we went on the stay-at-home order, and knowing that we only have till May to start this new program, we had to kind of get really creative with our approach to getting this program started. And I know a lot of youth build programs have still not started. And so that's one thing I keep telling my staff, pat yourself on the back about that. We really got our program off the ground, even under the COVID circumstances. So basically what we did, we started recruiting right before COVID. We were able to go hit all the high schools in the area. We talked to them about the program, and we talked to them about what our goal was and, our expected outcomes. And we really, built partnerships with the administrators at the school. And we got them on board with the Youth Build program, to where that we have a really good pipeline. They send referrals. If a student isn't working out, they're sending us referrals, and they're letting us know, like, we're communicating about each participant that we sign up. And, we're getting their information, and we're just, staying in contact with administrators at the high schools in the area. And then, we got a good list of students, and we were ready to go. We had a mental toughness scheduled for like the beginning of May, and then coronavirus happened. And so we had to take everything virtually. So we started our mental toughness period virtually. We did morning check-ins. We developed basically a curriculum or a plan on professionalism and presenting yourself professionally virtually. And so it was really cool to develop it, because, we know that this is kind of the direction the world is heading, to do things virtually. So it was important for us to teach our students, how to present themselves virtually. If you're on a conference call, don't, have the phone up your nose, or, things, what to do, what not to do. So that was a learning experience in itself. But we were able to really build bonds with them over 2 weeks virtually. We never met any of them, and we bonded with all of them just by doing Zoom calls. We talked every day. We checked in the mornings, and then we checked out in the evening. We gave them assignments. They did the work, and they made it through. So we started with about 23 students with the virtual cohort, and we ended up with about 13. So about 10 of them didn't make it. But I always tell them, you cut yourself, because it's just you not showing up, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And so then once we got past that mental toughness, we started working virtually. Ms. Siobhan has been excellent. She's very creative. She comes up with all kind of assignments for them to do virtually. And we had, the information flowing and just checking in with them. And then eventually we began coming on site 2 days a week and doing some construction work, or starting with like the basics of construction. And so now we do have our program fully transitioned to on site for the time being, but we're practicing social distancing, and we are, doing our best to use facial coverings and keep everybody safe while, still meeting our program goals at the same time.
So part of the program is community service also. What kind of projects have you guys done so far since, with COVID-19?
Yeah, even with COVID-19, we've reached out. So we've helped out the seniors. We got a donation from Chris Senior Services. They did care packages for senior citizens in our senior buildings. And our Youth Build students delivered those care packages. They chatted with the seniors. We had a good time. We, walked around. We cracked jokes with them. We had a ball that day. And then we also served them dinner or lunch for Father's Day. They have also dropped off food at the homeless shelter. And then our students are always coming up with new ways. A couple days ago, a group of them dropped off they go to lunch around noon, and they came and dropped off food to a homeless man outside. And so they're really starting to understand that, concept of community, or that concept of being a family, and, bonding with each other and bonding with the community, and, just really being able to get that vision and understand, what our mission is and what we're doing.
That's great. That's great. Ms. Siobhan, could you tell me a little bit about mental toughness, and what have you done, and how some of the creative assignments helped our young people through this process?
Well, first of all, I had to kind of bring myself up to par. Working with the younger generation, we're finding that some of the tools that were traditionally used in the classroom are not as effective with kids of this generation. So we got YouTube and pulled up YouTube and watched YouTube videos and learned how to do measurement through the YouTube video. Or one assignment I had the students is teaching them about like the main idea. Who's your favorite rapper? And tell me, you know, a topic sentence in 3 details regarding that. And then we showed their picture and they were very engaged and into that. Lily introduced me to Kahoot, which is an online program where you can go on and do quizzes, and it's just, it's awesome, and it's more interactive. They can download it on their phone and work on assignments on their phone via, instead of pencil and paper. So those kind of activities we've included, and they've been pretty successful.
What have you found about the Youth Build participants? You know, level of education, things like that.
Well, it's actually pretty interesting. We either have some that have no high school diploma, no high school transcripts and credits, or we have some that unfortunately dropped out around their junior or senior year and they were close to being done. With that being said, then everybody's kind of working on their own guided path towards, you know, getting their high school diploma, depending on where they came in at.
And so what kind of, what's your educational format? What type of system are, you know, is virtually, so computer-based, right?
Correct, yeah. So we were awarded a grant that helped us to be able to buy the children all Chromebooks. And then we're working with, we're partnered with Penn Foster, which is an online high school diploma option. And so they're able to log on to that and work on any assignments that they need that they were missing through high school. And then I have the capability of being able to log in and see where their progress is, see what's kind of assignments they're struggling with, and where there are areas where I kind of need to come in and do a little bit more hands-on kind of guided instruction.
Okay. So Devontae, could you tell me a little bit about your experience with that, with the Penn Foster? If you don't mind sharing, like where were you at in terms of education? I know you had some obstacles you had mentioned earlier, but I think it's important for people to understand that we're trying to, you know, groom and grow young people, you know, for the future.
So I think it's a really bright idea, like, because the Penn Foster, like, you can do it at your own pace. When, like, you anytime you want, you can just log in on your login and do your work. I think it's a really bright idea with the Penn Foster.
Trevante, do you know where you are? Or Trevon, do you know where Trevante is as far as the credits, or where did you last end off in high school?
I think I stopped at I was on my sophomore year when I log in. I think it tells me my sophomore year. That's where I'm at right now. So I don't have that many credits, but I'm working on it right now.
So what's your long-term goals once you graduate? We're going to speak it into existence. Once you graduate successfully.
So I really, like, I've always wanted to do construction, like go into the construction field. The specific one I would like to do is roofing, because ever since I was little, like my uncle, he's always done construction his whole life, and he just, like, I just always seen him doing it, and he enjoys it. And like he when I lived with him for a couple of months or something, and he like, he let me help him out, and I really enjoy doing roofing.
So
do that.
What are you getting in here in the community, right? So Ms. Walton mentioned that it's only 23 people that started out in terms of mental toughness. 13 was selected to be a part of the program. So that means 13 kids that were part of it that didn't make it. What are you hearing in the community around about the program?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, it just cut out. Like,
no problem. I know you're on site, so just, you know, bear with us. So what I was saying is that I know that Ms. Walton had mentioned that 23 people had signed up originally, and they worked through, you know, toughness. 13 you guys that was successful. What are you hearing from your peers in the community that wasn't successful, or people that think about they want to be a part of this program?
I'm not really, like, hearing anything like bad about that. They don't. So, like, as far as I know, like, everybody loves it. They love it. They like the program. They enjoy it. They don't really have any problem.
Tell me a little bit about what brings you to Youth Build as a teacher, along with some of your background and how you think you can relate to some of the young people, because I think that's important to be able to relate somewhat to the people that we're working with. We know it's a challenging group, meaning they had to overcome some obstacles, or they're still working through those obstacles.
This is for me?
Yes.
Okay. So I started out at Parkland College. I graduated and then became an instructor at Parkland College. Maybe back in '06. So I worked there for a little bit over a decade. So working in the GED program, of course, that's working with the students that kind of are at the same skill level and, everything with the students that we have on our program. So I've got a large background in that. Most recently, before I took the position here at the Housing Authority, I taught out at the satellite jail. So I've also had experience with working with people who had, criminal backgrounds and some of those obstacles that prevented them from being successful in their education.
Okay, that's good. And so you find that it's kind of the same group. Did you know any of the young people before you started?
No, I didn't know any of the young people that started. However, some of my colleagues do of some of the kids. And so we were able to sit down and speak regarding that. And I was able to pick up a lot of background knowledge. And that's been, very helpful in being able to relate to the kids, knowing their story and where they came from and maybe some of the reasons why they weren't successful in a traditional school setting.
Very good. So Ms. Walton, could you tell me like something that some success story that you guys had early on? Because I know that anytime when you're dealing with young people, is going to be some challenges. So can you explain like maybe one challenge?
Yeah, we've had.
Sorry.
Listen, I have a book of them already, Mr. North. I do, because we're learning like to really just accept everything as a success, like little things, if we don't celebrate it, they won't ever learn how to celebrate themselves. And so many of them are just, they didn't have any hope. So one example is we had one participant, and she came in with a high school diploma, and she had a background, she had a retail theft background, and it ended up, situation that her felony is robbery, and it was a lot of confusion around, why she has this felony. And, so she hasn't been able to get a job, and she has 2 kids. And on top of not being able to get a job, she's not able to get housing. And, it was just a lot. And so she needed a lot of support. And so she came to the program, and I'm like, you have your high school diploma. So I'm not, we can still accept you, but I wasn't too sure what we'd be able to do for her. And ever since she's been in the program, we've just seen so much growth. And we were talking about it this morning, like just tremendous growth. We were able to get her a job. She's a supervisor with one of our contractors, Mary's Masters Cleaning Services, who does the final cleaning, construction cleanings for the Haven and Bristol Place. So she's supervising and managing the logistics for Jemiah, the owner of the company. And so she's doing really well. And the other day, her and I were sitting down and having a conversation, and she says, Miss Lily, I've never had any role models until I came to this program. And she says, my experience with women has been bad. She says she's never been able to have a minority woman or a Black woman that she could go to and talk to. And so now she calls me all times of the night, like, Miss Lily, I need to talk. I don't want to go back to jail, and I need to, I need to calm down. And so being able to give her that outlet, or being able to, just give her a friend or a mentor to call and like help her guide through, guide decision making, sometimes that's been a success. And then another success that we've had a couple of days ago, Tuesday, we had an incident with 2 of our students, and one of our older students, he really stepped up to just mediate the situation. It was a situation where an individual was outside looking for them with a gun, and Tyron, our student, he stepped up and he, protected them. He protected the program, and he made sure that in my absence, it was during a break, and in my absence or my team's absence, that he stepped up and he protected the program, and he did everything he could. He used his influence, and it was a stressful day for a lot of them. And we ended up letting them go, and they all went home. And we were all stressed out, like, just was a bad day in general. And we went to lunch and came back. And out of the 13 we let 13 of them go. 7 of them came back. And we like, what are y'all doing here? And they're like, we just didn't want to go home. We wanted to be here. We wanted to spend time with y'all, and we just needed to talk. about what happened today. And we gave them that time. We all sat outside on the bench and we just was talking about the situation and what happened. And so the fact that we're building relationships, or we're giving them a safe place to go to, or just a place to, they know they have mentors, or they know that there's someone who they can talk to, or that they can, you know, help figure things out, that is a success in itself. So even though we're just getting off the ground and we've got so many more successes to go, but those are just some little things that we know as far as relationship building, we're able to do that.
You know, one of the biggest things that we utilize in this platform for is to, you know, educate others, give people different ideas. We know that, I mean, wow, you just talked about violence right now. I mean, it's been an uptick in violence across the nation. You know, in this community also, every day I'm hearing about shootings occurring. And so, Devontae, would you just tell me a little bit about, you know, your thoughts around that? You know, I know you're here, so you want to overcome the obstacles that you had. You want to be successful. You want to do what's right. But what's going on in this community? And how do you think YouthBuild may be able to help facilitate change?
Yeah, that's a lot of bad things going on in the community, like as far as gun violence. But I think the program, like everybody comes every day. Like everybody wants to come. It's not like everybody does not want to come and just be out like this. I think this program really brings us in. Like it's because like I remember going to school and like I never really wanted to go to school, but like I knew I had to. But like I actually like coming. I like being there. It's fun. Like it just like I rather. There's no other place I'd rather be at this moment. Like it's so fun. I enjoy it so much.
Yeah, tell them where you're at right now, Trevante.
Yeah, we're at Elevate right now. So
all you feel
that's another thing, Mr. Northern, giving them the opportunity to, you know, they work hard all week, and I came out of my own pocket, like, you know, take them to Elevate, like let them go have fun, like burn the steam off. It was a rough week, like let them be kids, basically, you know. So that's one thing we're focusing on too, like being able to just give them experience that they're not getting being out in the streets.
So that's one thing that's important, exposure. A lot of times people are not exposed to things, and so they never know what's there. And so YouthBuild, that's an opportunity that we have with YouthBuild to bring exposures, different types of exposures to the young people. Devontae, Lily mentioned earlier that you guys did a couple of service projects, community service projects. One was the Father's Day event. Could you tell me a little bit about that and what you maybe got out of that?
I think I was gone for that day. Okay. I was out of town.
What about the care packages? Didn't you guys give care packages away to the seniors and stuff?
Yes. That was really nice. Giving them like everything they need. We all went to everybody's door, knocked on the door, gave them the direct care package, and it really made me feel good.
What was in the care package? The care package was what?
It was just like housing stuff that like the elderly would need, like just like detergent, air freshener, masks, snacks, you know. And it made me feel really good, like just handing it to them and seeing a big smile on their face. Like they were all so grateful for it.
Yeah, that's good.
It made me feel pretty good about myself. Well, about all of us as a group, you know.
So Lily, you mentioned about receiving grants and things like that to help fund a program. I thought you mentioned that this program just started in January, so it doesn't pay for itself?
Nah. No. So, you know, the grant covers a lot. The grant covers our staff's time. The grant covers, you know, our space. It covers their education. It costs us about $17,000 or more for each student. So putting it in perspective like that, we have to serve 84 students, and, you know, that money has to come. We have to find additional funding from somewhere. So we've been really aggressive with seeking out funding or seeking out support. So we did, like Ms. Siobhan mentioned earlier, we did write a grant to the University of Illinois, and we went, or not to the University of Illinois, but to the East Central Community Foundation and United Way. for $10,000. So we received $10,000 for digital access. So we were able to purchase 40 Chromebooks for our students. And at the end of the program, those students are able to take those computers with them. They'll be able to, use it for job search, or, whatever, the future holds for them. It's their laptop to keep. And we also just won another grant for, it's from DCEO, the state of Illinois, Connected Communities grant for $12,000, and that's for broadband access. So we'll be able to help our participants access broadband. And then we got a $1,000 donation from Access Capital out of Research Park, and that was for digital access again. And then we got a food grant. So it's $200 a week, and that comes from Rumburgers.
Wow, that's nice. So you get to, so they get to eat good then, huh?
Oh yeah, well, they are eating good. I'm gaining weight. That's all we do is eat.
A fitness grant so we can get some exercise going on.
Yes, that's what we need next. They want a boxing gym and a music studio. We've talked about it. So
yeah, you know what? In YouthBuild Lake County, we had a music studio. One of the leaders there was a musician, and he would let the kids get in the studio and they would make beats and things like that. But I think physical fitness, along with mental health and all that, ties in hand in hand. So
absolutely. And like Trevante will tell you, one thing that we drill into them is like, we're a family. So, we sit in a circle. We had an argument. We were all into it with each other the other day, and we came to a circle like a family, and we just sat there and we talked. And Trevante laughing because it was deep. The circle was deep. I was in there like, we got to get it together. Like, we have to be a family. If we're not a family, it's not cohesive. It doesn't work. And so they know that, whatever happens here, you look out for each other. When you walk out of this building, you don't have to be best friends, but you are family, because of YouthBuild. So we're really getting that message across. And we're going to keep, my team will keep being aggressive, and we'll keep providing, and we'll keep coming out our own pockets, and we'll keep, finding money as long as they keep that positive attitude and they keep being a family.
So, Mr. Vaughn, you had mentioned, the educational differences of some of the kids. Have they been comfortable sharing their stories or sharing their experiences? Like some people are not comfortable talking about shortcomings, right? And so, in a group setting, how do you feel that has played out?
Well, I think it starts with the instructors. It begins with me. A lot of the reason why people are kind of apprehensive about talking or sharing, some of their difficulties is because they feel as if they're being judged. So I also have the experience of being a continuing student. I went to college and then stopped and had a family and then was able to go back. So I definitely start out with that story of letting them know I understand what it's like to start over again, and you can be successful. And then also letting them know not to experience any intimidation, that I am here to help and I'm here to listen. And that is my job first and foremost. And then once we get that bond connected, then we can go into the education, because a lot of the times they feel as if they haven't had that. So being able to do that has been helpful. Then once we do that, we sit around, and it usually takes one person to start off and to say, hey, one of the students that I'm really close to, he says, nobody's ever told me that I was smart, or they told me I had an IEP. So we were doing math that day, and he kept getting them right. And so I said, come sit by me, and so he came and sat by me. And I said, okay, now teach the class how to do it. I said, maybe I'm not showing them right, another way. And he was like, yeah. And so he stood up in front of the class and he showed them how to do the math problem. And I'm sure that Lily can attest, he has been a shining star ever since. It just took somebody believing in him and giving him an opportunity. So that is why I do what I do, and, my approach to teaching and learning. So.
I mean, I was really impressed about the story you told Lily related to the threat of gun violence. Violence, as I mentioned, is erupting across our nation, especially in our lower income communities, and especially with our young people. And that's something that's disappointing. But, programs like this, I believe, can really help facilitate change in that area. One thing is that you mentioned that the young people got together and helped save the day, in a sense. So it was young people that stepped up to stop the violence. So Trevante, are you finding that and this is the question in general, are you finding that some people don't want to see you guys be successful, maybe out there, or that was just something that just happened?
I mean, yeah, there are people out there that don't want us to be successful, but that's not gonna stop us. It's a must. We must be successful.
Were you there when that happened?
Yes, I was there, and it was a pretty scary experience, but we were all okay.
That's good. I'm glad you guys were okay. I remember getting a call about it, and I was, really disturbed about that occurring. That's something that, I mean, anything's possible in this day and age, but that's something that's we have young people that's trying to work and change. So people coming after them that they face a change, right? So that's something that we got to really do better at as a community, and hopefully maybe the young people that came to try to start issues see that this is a good thing, and they one day may want to change their lives also. So I appreciate you for expressing that to us, because I know it's not easy to talk about cases like that. I know one thing, Lily, you talked about graduation. So at the end of this program, it's a pre-apprenticeship program. So, they have an opportunity to go on a construction track. But what's the other tracks they can go in terms of, job training or trades that they may have?
They have the option to go through the certified nurse assistant route or information technology, Google IT help desk support. And so those are two certifications that we're offering right now. And then of course, we're looking to expand our options. We're looking at HVAC and, just some other different certifications, welding, or, different things that are also big money makers. And next week, our group is the whole entire group. So in addition to the certifications that they're earning, we're also getting them, small certifications along the way. So like they got the OSHA, and then these are certifications that right off the top they can get employed with while they're still with YouthBuild. And next week on Thursday and Friday, they're doing a flaggers training. And so they'll be, getting that certification out the way. So now they can go to one of our construction companies and, apply for a flaggers job while they're in the YouthBuild program. And so, we're getting them, squared away as far as training. So they're going to leave this program with everything that they, could possibly need to be successful.
So how are you marketing these successful trainings to the community? Because if I was a construction company owner and I say I work for I'm doing a street project, I may not know, because YouthBuild is tied to housing. So how could how's the message been related to the community about or the construction community about that? We have young people that that we're certifying, that we're behind and supporting.
Yeah, so I've definitely been in communication with the construction company, the construction companies that the Housing Authority works with, about a pathway for jobs for students. And we have a plan as far as getting our students on the list to be employed. And so we're working with them in that sense, but we do have some work to do as far as we just hired a career specialist. So she'll be the one making those connections primarily and building up those pathways. But we have been in initial conversations with the city of Champaign and the university and the city of Urbana, and of course the construction companies about opportunities for YouthBuild students and what certifications they're working on, and that we're making them employable. And at the same time, we're working with our students on being a person that someone would want to employ, because being quite honest, right now, some of them, we got jobs and they don't even show up for their jobs. So it's like, you come to YouthBuild, but you don't come to the job we got you. So it's just kind of some, a little bit of redirecting sometime, or, explaining, how to be professional, and, also explaining to those employers that, these kids are, some of them have high needs, and, they're not the most ideal employees, but we're working to get them to be there, and so I think that's the.
Ms. Siobhan, what's something that you can see that after your experience with our group of kids, in a sense, what do you see as a major need for them long term?
We were kind of just discussing this today. Definitely some mentors. As Lily said, a lot of them are high needs, and just somebody that can, be an example for them and that can relate to them. Maybe somebody that shared, a similar background, and that can help them to provide that support outside of the classroom. We're there with them from 9 to 3, and they may call us from time to time. But if there's somebody else that, they can look up to and that can be there for them, that's a definite need.
And Mr. Northern, I got to put you on the spot because when one particular student, we all agree that you have to mentor him. So we like, this is exactly what he needs, you to ride your cool car, and he just needs somebody to take him out to lunch every now and again and talk some sense into him. And we like, Mr. Northern would be perfect. So we putting you on the spot.
It's fine. That's I totally feel that we as a people have to really, work with our young people and be examples. And I don't believe every example is perfect. I had to overcome obstacles to become who I am today. And so, I always feel like you can learn from everybody, learn what to do, what not to do. You find out what you like and you go from that. So I'm more than willing to do that. I've had my own personal challenges of late, with dealing with COVID and things like that. So, but I'm here for them. That's why I felt this program was big, and we're working so hard to make it successful. What about what about housing? Like, what about those wraparound services that they may need? How this is a housing authority that does affordable housing development, that has a youth build. Their goal is to have people overcome obstacles. What can you mention about what the housing authority is trying to do more to support the young people that we're working with?
I was waiting on you to ask this question. So we are working on getting MTW activity or a specialized activity for housing vouchers for Youth Build students after they complete the program. And so we know that it is a need. Almost 90% of our students are housing insecure, and they need a place to lay their head. They can't work or learn or do anything until that basic need is met. And so we've even, our team has even had some conversation around transitional housing. We have students who are literally homeless, but they come to Youth Build every day. And although they may not be ready for an apartment on their own, they need a place to stay. And, they're couch surfing, and they're trying so hard. And that's the thing that, really makes us want to, help them as much as we can, because they're really working hard. But housing is in the way, and they need it. And so transitional housing and vouchers at the end of the program, but one thing I would want to say is we want them to be to the point where they can be self-sufficient and, know how to go out and get resources. And so just to not give them a voucher, but to, get them like some training and, how to maintain a household, how to pay rent, how to budget, like, things like that. And that may be where the transitional housing piece come in, to, kind of figure out a path forward for many of them who need housing, because it's a huge need.
It's a software I use personally. It's called True Bill, I think it is, and I use it to help organize and pay my bills. I budget with it. How much food I'm shopping for, which is increased along with my waistline, but uh, just giving them those type of ideas. Ms. Siobhan, anything you can add to that in terms of what they need long term? Again, with housing, I know you talked about growth. I know we talked about some of those wraparound services, but what else you think that can be added to their ammunition or their repertoire in order for them to be successful?
Say two things. One of the main things that I have a passion about is, especially with working with the young women, is making sure that they have the life skills and they understand what it means to be a woman, and how to carry themselves and how to have high self-esteem and to feel good about their complexion, and and to not judge yourself for some of the past mistakes that you've made. That's been a big thing. So that self-esteem is going to be the thing that ignites them to feel good about themselves and move forward. So that's one. And then the second one is a lot of our young girls are either pregnant or have children. So some type of childcare or mother parenting classes, that kind of thing, that would all be good for them to have.
Yeah, and to that also, another conversation we had yesterday, I was just kind of sharing some ideas that we floated around before, knowing that childcare is a need for almost all of the young women who come to us, to have some type of childcare facility. And I know Mr. Northern and I had these conversations about, maybe you're putting it in a senior building, training the community to do childcare. And so we have a couple students who are interested in childcare. So one of our plans, like, if we were to get a building, to possibly have a childcare center in it, and then get one of our students certified in childcare. So they will be able to watch, and that'll be like their work assignment for the day, or, or just to figure out how to build build our capacity within the research that we have, because our students are really talented and they have diverse, skill sets and diverse career paths. And so just fostering whatever career path they want and, at the same time meeting the program's needs.
So, Shavante, you mentioned a few things that you've got out the program already, some of the goals you had. Do you believe or feel that, maybe the staff of YouthBuild learned from you guys any? What do you think that's something that they was able to get from you as a participant? Because we learn from
I do think the staff have learned a lot from us, like a lot. Like even because like we're really close to the staff. I don't think I've really been this close to an adult, like someone more older than me at all, like this close. And like they really understand us and they know where we're coming from, and like I really appreciate it because like I really haven't had somebody really understand where I'm coming from. Like it's been hard trying to find somebody like that, and for like the staff to understand where I'm coming from, like I appreciate it a lot. I really do.
I know when I coached football when I was getting out of college, just a couple years ago now, not a long time ago, but a couple years ago. No, that's a joke, so you can laugh. I know when I got out of college, I mentored and worked with a lot of young people, and I would bring them around me. And again, like I said, showing them what to do and what not to do. But someone was impressed that I came from the same place they came from. I was able to go to college and come back and be successful, and that helped so many of them out. And a lot of those young boys, young men that I work with are successful today. And I believe some of what I provided them was just letting them be around me and giving them access to me as an individual. So Lily, Siobhan, what have you guys learned? What do you feel you learned from the young people that you're working with?
The best staff ever. That's why he said that there. We was happening. I don't know again.
I was just about to tell a story about Joby, so that's funny he came on. But I wanted to say that working with these kids and working with these young people has been, probably one of the best experiences of my entire career. And it's only been, I don't know, a couple months so far, but it's just really been impactful. And we have Joby and he was he does these group circles with the kids and they love Joby. Like they go crazy over Joby. Like if Joby not there, it's a problem. And so he does these group circles, and Joby he kicked it off, and he's formerly incarcerated. And so Joby in himself is a success story, like to have him in the program and to have him, really, mentoring these kids and, guiding them. And so he started off the story, the purpose of it was to talk about your experience with education or your experience in systems. And Joby kicked off the stories telling like war stories from prison and had everybody rolling. And, that opened the kids up to want to tell their stories. And then we all got to talking about, the craziest stuff we've done. And they talking about how they stole cars and beat up security guards. And we laughing, but we're also learning from this interaction. And we're also talking about like, okay, we can realize where I made a mistake here. Or like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Or, And so Joby gets those conversations going with them and he keeps them engaged and talks to them. And he's also the soft spot of the program. Like I thought it would be me, but it's really Joby. Like he's got a heart for everybody, and he just, it's always like, oh, we can't kick them out, we can't do this, and we like Joby, But it's the relationship, like so. I think that's what matters most.
It sounds like you guys having fun, and that's what it's about. It's not just about work. It's not just about learning. It's about charisma building. It's about enjoying your life. It's about showing how that you can do something that's beneficial for you and still enjoy it, right? Ms. Siobhan, what you think you got from it or seen?
These kids keep me young. I've learned so much lingo. Somebody was talking about something and I said, well, I need you to get this done. And I said, on bro, like that's the new one that they've taught me that I really, really like. So I've been using that one quite a bit.
They tell us we lose cool points every day. Tyron is clocking our cool points. Like I need to stop using that. Yeah. We'd be like,
so now they're tired of it.
Yeah, that's fun though, because like I have teenagers, and so I do all them crazy dances and stuff that we doing, You know, it's fun to interact. That's always a good time. So we winding down. We have about 8 minutes left. There's a couple more things. A couple more points I kind of want to hit to. One, where do you see the future of Youth Build program in Champaign County? Either one of the staff could answer that.
I'll let you answer, Siobhan. Go ahead.
I would like to see it expand and grow and be huge, and to set an example. And I think especially in this community, with some of the the violence and stereotyping and things that's going on, it would be really, really nice to be able to see that we found something that works for our kids, and through our program, the kids that go through it, there's a decrease in the violence, and there's an increase of them getting their high school diplomas and coming back and being productive in our community. So I'm looking forward to, and we'll definitely stick around to see that come through.
So
I think the thing that I'm looking for the most is being able to, and this is me putting Mr. Northern on the spot again, but being able to expand this program beyond the limitations of the grant, because the grant is 16 to 24. And one thing that we've learned with this past mental toughness is that there are a lot of older people who need assistance. So people who are in their late 20s, who are being released from prison.
20s, you call it late 20s old? Really?
I mean, look, but who are in their late 20s.
More mature individuals. We're more mature individuals. That's what you're saying.
More mature individuals who need this assistance, and they're coming to Youth Build, but with the limitations we have with the grant, we're really not able to serve them. So at this point, we're getting creative. Like, well, you sign up for Penn Foster and we help you. We're trying to find ways around the grant because we can't necessarily serve them with the grant. And one thing I would like for us to do is to be able to do this because it overlaps with our self-sufficiency department and our self-sufficiency goals, to be able to expand the Youth Build model beyond the Youth Build grant.
Okay. Trevante, what do you see as the future of Youth Build? How the future outlook look to you as you indulging on food and stuff like
So sorry.
okay.
I think are you saying future as in all together?
Yeah, I mean, how do you see the future of this community being impacted by Youth Build?
I think this would really help. It would really get a lot of people out of the streets. It draws. I don't know. It draws a lot of people's attention though. Once people hear about it, it's really good. I would say but I think it would get a lot of people out of the streets, most definitely.
Well, you know what? I challenge you and your other cohort of individuals in Youth Build that want to overcome obstacles to spread the message. Part of that spreading that message, not only working with the young people that you're enemies with right now, but making sure your elected officials know. If you're 18, vote. Make sure you let people know that all the other money around the community can be also facilitated in and help this grow. And the reason we brought the program here is because we know it can be successful and it can be a facilitator of complete change in a community that needs that. And this is a community that needs that at this time. So as we near into the end, is there anything else you want to say, Devontae?
I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to be in this program. Seriously, because it is really helpful. And I know, at first it was hope, but now, me being in this program, I know I'm gonna be successful.
Wow,
I know.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for being a part of it. Because if it, like we always say, if we're here to serve a certain purpose, and if you're not willing to be a part of the program, we don't have anybody to serve. So thank you for being a part of it and wanting to change. Ms. Siobhan, final thoughts, final words. You're on mute.
There we go. It's not often that you get to, come in. I feel like it's not work, it's my passion. And I lose track of time. Get up early and we come, and then we stay for our meetings. The next thing we know, we look up, we're like, oh my gosh, it's 5, I got to get home. So I'm very thankful for that. And, I'd like to say thank you guys for that. And Lily's an awesome, awesome boss, and working with you has been quite a pleasure. And we're both cancers, so that helps as well. So
You don't have to say that. You don't have to say that. You don't have to.
All three.
No, she is. She's great. She's amazing.
That's right.
So Lily, your final thought. Also, I want you to explain how, if somebody's interested in YouthBuild, how they could get more information about it and apply for later cohorts.
Okay. So just my final thoughts on it is, I'm excited to have the program here, and I'm just really excited, to see us keep growing and keep on touching lives. And how you can get involved with the YouthBuild program, you could go to our website, hacc.net/YouthBuild. The application is there, and all of our contact information is there. And we are looking for mentors and volunteers and funding sources and almost everything. So
Advisory board members,
advisory board members, yes. We're really trying to get that off the ground, and we really want to get some guidance and direction, or community guidance and direction and leadership on our advisory board. And we did just officially get our 501c3 for the YouthBuild, Housing Authority of Champaign County YouthBuild. So yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank all three of you guys for being, willing to share and be a part of this panel discussion today. I think this is an amazing program. I think it'll do some great good for the community, and we want to share the word. Again, the panel discussion is about affordable housing, but the goal of this one is talking about, building brighter futures for young people. Again, the concept of the balcony and the dance floor comes from a management term where managers and leaders have to, be on the balcony and look at the overview big picture, but also get down and touch the kids where the road meets the road. Like when we did pass out the care packages and things like that. I have a big role here with the Housing Authority in the community, so I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with the kids, but I've seen them a number of times. I've been in meetings with them, I talk to them, and I probably get on their nerves sometimes also, but that's what I do. So again, I want to say thank you guys. You have a great weekend and keep up the great work. And let's spread the message about change to our community. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
It's you.
Have fun, Javante.
Thank you. See you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.